what is a threat in general? So if you talk about this, it's very simple. As the term says, anything which is harmful and which is, which could cause damage to you or yourself is a threat. That's what in real life we perceive as, right? There's a, if there's a there is a, let's say someone who is probably looks like, very arrogant person, and carrying probably a weapon and is approaching to me, I will consider that as a threat, because that guy looks like angry, having something to hit somebody, and like that. So similarly, anything from the IT or from the software perspective, from a computer perspective, which could cause damage, is considered to be threat. Now, as I said, threat could be like, there are 1,000 different types of threat. There are different category of threat. I'm not getting into the details of that as such, but just to give you a couple of examples, how this threat situation happens is obviously, social engineering attack is one of the big threat and scam. Phishing attack. Now, if you don't know what is social engineering or phishing attack, let me just quickly explain that. So phishing, obviously, you must be knowing, which is basically I'll send you a fake link or fake URL saying that this, let's say I send you a link, pretending to be a friend, saying that, this is, I have traveled this place, these are some pictures I have uploaded, please check the pictures. Or I pretend to be an institute, let's say I pretend to be a bank, saying that, your account is, probably getting locked for whatever reason, please click this link to reset your password. Or I can pretend to be, let's say, a government institute, saying that probably, let's say, your tax return is due and you should file your tax returns and submit the documents on this link, and I send you a link. So my objective is, I will send you a fake email or a fake message in a way that looks like a trustworthy message for you, so that if my target is, and my objective is, you will trust the message and you will click on that link. Once you click on that link, there would be a further incident will happen. It could be approach to steal your password. So I can take you to a fake login pages where you can, I'll ask you to log in again with your actual username password, but it's actually a fake login. I can take you to a fake payments page saying that your credit card bill is due, please pay here. And it's a fake payment place where you enter your credit card details or bank account or bank debit card details, whatever it is, and I'll steal that data. I can take you to probably ask you to download something saying that your, let's say your, this one is the spyware section, right? Which is, I will say that your computer is infected. Click here to download the antivirus, and which essentially is doing the opposite. Once you click it and download the software, that is actually the virus or the spyware or the Trojan, whatever it is, right? So that that makes you download something which will compromise your machine. So there is various, post this thing objective is there, what I do. So essentially, that's called social engineering attack. I'll try to simulate a message which is trustable to you, and or I can pretend to be one of your friend in Facebook or something and send you a message saying that I'm stuck in this country, and I am lost, I've lost money, can you please send me some money? So this is something is happening these days. Earlier it was in normal social networking, now it moved to even LinkedIn. People in LinkedIn are sending message, connects are sending that, can you please give me some money, I'm stuck in something and I'm going through some crisis, like that. So yeah, be careful about that. DDoS is called distributed denial of service attack, or denial of service. Is basically an attack targeted to a specific entity. It could be an organization, mostly organization, or it could be a product or services which is available online. And my objective is to how I can bring down that service. What if, for example, let's say Amazon, right? What if I can send something which will bring down the Amazon server so that nobody in the world will be able to access Amazon web service or Amazon cloud or Amazon e-commerce, right? So that is called denial of service attack, where I try to bring down the service and service is not accessible anymore to anybody, right? So there's a lot of targeted attack like that happens. There are different ways people do. So I have one case study which I'll walk you through on this. Then there is something called Trojan and spyware. As I said, Trojan, spyware, worms, malware, those are all called, in general, called malicious software, right? So what does that mean is, each one has their own way of stealing data either from you, which could be data which is stored on your file system, which could be live data what you're typing. There's a one type of Trojan malware called keylogger, using which I can, whatever you're typing I can capture. So live data, I can steal data which is stored on your file system, whatever transmitting through internet, probably I can sniff in a network and try to steal there. So various things we can do. So that's called, those are the malicious software section. And then obviously organized crime is another category of threat. Organized crime is nothing but, let's say, this anonymous hacker group. You probably have heard about them, right? Or WikiLeaks, let's say, right? So there is a group of people who actually have teamed up and trying to do some attack together as a joint activity. So that's called organized crime. And there are two types of organized crime. One is simply hackers, and there is another group of organized crime who do it or some belief. So that's called activist. Like activist, social activist, political activist. You have something called hackers who are activists. That's called hacktivist. So hacker, take H from hacker and put activist. This is like hacktivist. So you call them as hacktivist. So that's how I'm under organized crime category. And obviously the one of the very generic threat to everybody, including the IT infrastructure, is natural disaster. Let's say I have a data center where all my data is stored, right? You consider, let's say, Google, Amazon, all these people. And what if there is a flood happen or a fire breaks out, right? So those are natural disaster which could damage the entire server, entire probably data center, and I could lose potential data. So these are various threats. So software layer, network layer, hardware layer. There are various kind of threat, and that's where people actually study this threat and try to come up with mitigations. What if this threat happened? What should I do? So there is a concept called threat modeling. So using threat modeling techniques, it have mostly applicable to softwares. However, it's not only software; it could be for in general for anybody in the infrastructure also you can apply. So threat modeling, these are the things we use to be well prepared in advance for something like that. Specifically on natural disaster category, the last one which is mentioned, there is something called BCPDR, Business Continuity Planning and Disaster Recovery. I think BCP is something you guys must have heard it most recently, because of this COVID crisis, since everybody, all the work has moved to as a remote working mechanism. Most of the business was not used to this, and they were now coming up with new BCP planning called business continuity planning, how I can continue my business undisputed manner, or without any disruption, that it should continue the same way it used to be when people were coming to office and working. So there's a BCP plan, and there's a called DR, disaster recovery, which is if any disaster happens, what should I do, where is my backup, how fast I can replace the backup to my main server so that my service comes back online. So these are various techniques and procedures to be followed. These things is happening. So that's how the entire threat space gets managed, and you come up with policies, rules. There is something called rule book. You come up with those kind of things, and that gets stored in various systems, and various person get assigned to that, who will be maintaining and updating those rule books based on the situations and based on the scenarios.